I want to ask you about one play. I think it was in the Jags game, and Quentin was up on the line, and you were about to get sacked, and Costanzo was getting beat on the edge, and he basically just through the back of his eyes came back and saved you from getting sacked or fumbled or whatever. I don't know if you remember the play. If you do, what do you remember from that play, and what do you remember from watching that on film?
Yeah, well, shoot, I do remember it. I mean, it's not as clear as you described it, but I've seen a lot of those plays. He's done and made unbelievable adjustments, just in years past as well. But he and all those guys are just playing really well and really hard, and it's been fun to be out there with them. So it's a heck of a group, and not only is it a big physical group that they're skilled in obviously their position and what they do, but they're super smart players and really play well together and just have a knack and love for the game. I mean, that just that love and passion and just they love it, And so it's been a fun group to get to know and to be around.
Andrew Walker.
Hey, Philip, I know you haven't played with T.Y. for long, but do you ever feel compelled to say anything to him when he's just had a couple rough patches here the first two games, or you just kind of keep feeding him the ball and you're only 2 games in and a guy like this will figure it out?
Yeah, I think the latter, and I think a guy's track record kind of carries a lot of weight, speaks for itself, and also what we've been able to build in the last 8 weeks. So. And I would imagine and hope that would be reciprocated. I mean, certainly I've had other opportunities of throwing the ball and maybe didn't make the throw I needed to make, and other mistakes. And you build that trust with those guys. And again, your history and track record speaks for itself. So there's zero lost confidence or anything for that matter. I mean, shoot, it's a long season, and he's going to make a ton of big plays for us. And he's already made some, and he's going to continue to. And so things like that to me, speaking in general now, so separate quote, so it's not taken out of context. In general to me, the plays that would draw any concern with anybody in the locker room are trust issues, right? A guy running a wrong route, or a guy doing his own thing, or a guy, saying, well, I didn't think I could get in there, I'm going to run behind him, and doing things like that make you go, man, I don't think I can. That's going to be an issue, throwing certain things or being confident that the guy's going to be where we're supposed to be. But when things happen, shoot, we're going to throw bad balls, we're going to drop some now and then, and those kind of things to me do not need really any much conversation other than to confirm that, hey, let's go, man, we're good. So no concerns whatsoever for me.
And Sterling.
Hey, Philip, what's the night after a win like for you as opposed to the alternative? How do you either celebrate or how do you deal with an evening after a win?
Yeah, well, I tell you what, it certainly beats the alternative. Well, I think at least in our house, it allows you to enjoy the Sunday, the late evening games, and in last week's case, get to see the second half of the late games, and then in Sunday Night Football, you actually enjoy watching them as opposed to watching them thinking about all the plays you want back and what we didn't do well enough to win the game. And it's always fun again to pull out the iPad and watch a game when you know the final score as we're on top. So other than that, though, I think in this league you got to quickly move on. Certainly not necessarily Sunday evening, but you quickly move on to the next one and not get too high or too low. And but yeah, this past Sunday was certainly a heck of a lot better than week one.
George Bremer.
Early in the season, if there's an area that you're not doing as well as you want, like say the red zone, the number's not where you want it to be, how do you balance kind of the frustration with that, with the knowledge that it's a small sample size and you're going to improve moving forward?
Yeah, I think it's just that. I really I don't even I think I don't even look at it this early as far as where you stack up. Oh man, they're the first third down team in the league, or first red zone team, or first. I mean, I just think it's too early. I mean, who knows after 2 weeks? So I think it's really just focusing on how do we improve. I mean, I do think it's important to acknowledge and dissect all the areas we can get better, so we are better in those that's those situations, red zone, third down, and all those things we know are key to winning. So, but I do think it's just, hey, shoot, let's focus on improving, not so much worry about, man, we're 50% through however many weeks or whatever. I think we're in this thing again. We're in this thing for the long haul, but we do know that we can talk about a small sample size, but each game does stand alone, and each game matters because you have a poor, 8-game stretch in the red zone and third down. You're probably not going to be very happy with the win-loss record. So it is definitely an area of focus. It always has been, and certainly an area we want to get better.
Kevin Bowen.
Philip, last week, you were speaking really highly of Paris Campbell. Where will you guys offensively kind of feel his loss the most, you think?
Yeah, you feel terrible for Paris. I think it's we got a good group. We got a good receiver group. But Paris's speed, I think, was felt. It was really felt in week one. On some of those crossing routes, his speed was really felt. He's an explosive guy. So, not that we don't have other guys that are as well, but I think that's probably the first thing I think of. But we got a good group. We got a good deep group. So obviously we're going to continue to need Michael Pittman to continue to step up. Obviously, Zach's made a lot of plays in this league, and certainly he's already going to be a big part of our offense. Ty, what this does now, we'll see what it does. Now, you saw Ashton catch speed sweep last week in the game late, and I know he's mixed in there a wide receiver as well. You got a young Desmond Patton. I mean, we'll see kind of how it goes. It'll be collective, but guys will step up, and that's what good teams do and good groups do. And we got a good receiver group.
Jim Aiello.
Hey, Philip, I got a question about a particular play. I think it was the fourth quarter. It looked like you were about to hand the ball off to Jonathan Taylor and maybe saw Harrison Smith coming around the edge. Did you just decide to pull that and run yourself?
Yeah, that's one of those things we usually, you can get out of those plays when they're going to be disastrous like that. I didn't think he was blitzing, and he did at the last second. It was more just to avoid a disaster. I didn't want him to, hit us right at the exchange and have a fumble or something. You just didn't want anything negative. Yeah, so I just turned it into a QB run there. I actually stayed up on feet longer than I expected.
Yeah, it was a 3-yard gain, so it worked out all right.
Yeah, I'll take those. I don't have many of those.
Mike Chappell.
That's just a great transition because most good running teams have help from the quarterback. Where do you rank on this team as a running threat?
Last. Of all the guys that touch the ball, last. But I tell you, I would disagree a little bit with your first statement. Some of the good running teams, the quarterbacks are involved. I wouldn't say all the good running teams. Over the years, time here, the Colts ran it pretty good when Peyton was here. I don't remember him running very much. They ran it good in New England the last 20 years. And I know
he had Edger in here too.
Yeah, exactly. And I know Tom didn't run it much. I don't think Drew runs much either. Those guys usually end up there in the top 10 in the league in rushing. But there's just a lot of different ways to run it. Thankfully, with our backs and guys up front, we can run it the traditional way.
All right, last one, Mike Wells.
Hey, Philip, I wanted to ask you, this is about your health. We know the track record of the consecutive games you played. And if I'm not mistaken, the most substantial injury you've had was the ACL back in 2008 or whatnot. So I wanted to ask you, what have been some of your injuries that obviously didn't keep you on the sideline that maybe kind of bothered you that people don't know about? This is the story for ESPN the magazine, by the way.
Yeah, well, in all respect to your question, I'm going to leave out the details. I mean, I've always, there's been numerous things that nicks and knacks. Some that would maybe some would seem that are more severe than others, and some maybe not so. But I've always tried my best not to. I don't know what you gain. I don't know what you gain by airing those out, other than trying to tell everybody that you're tough. I mean, so yeah. I think other than what's been worthy to be on the injury report over the years, I'll leave it at that. So very thankful that I've been able to be out there that many in a row. I've been blessed with good health. There is an element of toughness to it, but certainly thankful that I've had nothing that's kept me off the field each week.